Who is a driver? And where is he supposed to be? Thomas looked around, as he didn't see a thing. Must be a light, then. Then something came. What in tarnation? Thomas then looked at the trucks, when suddenly... Who's there? Shouted Thomas. Then the trucks were being bumped and pushed aside, as an engine then appeared. He had 4 sharp wheels, a dark coat of paint with red standing out, and a familiar basis to another engine. Thomas then told off angrily, "Who do you think you are, pushing these trucks around at night so hard?"
Huh? You shan't be telling me about. I tell you about. I went to war. You did not. I went to France, and I ran through the trenches. What about you? Well, you stayed on your line, shunting trucks perhaps. Whatever.
Thomas was annoyed, and he thought that Bertram, the new engine, was joking. Hey! You're the new one here. I tell you what you do.
Oh, really now?
And the two argued for the rest of the night until it was morning. That next morning, Bertram went to some trucks with coal in them. He was ready to pull his first train he had ever pulled in his life. He coupled up to the trucks and was ready to go off. At that part of the end of the line was a turntable that couldn't work. However, no one knew how to make it work, and Bertram thought they did know how. So, when Bertram was going to go on it, he was then told,
Sorry, Bertram, but it doesn't work. We don't know how to fix it. You'll just have to deal with a line at the end. So I won't go in front.
Yes, unfortunately, you'll have to drive backwards. Sorry about that, but we don't know how again.
Are you absolutely sure?
But Bertram was interrupted. Quit whining, you'll fart. You're lucky you're out of war. Why did I decide to not work with Toby? He's so much better, even if he has cow catchers. Bertram didn't speak more. He realized that when he was going to come there, he had to go backwards, and he had to deal with it. But now he at least appreciated the work and the fact he could go forwards.
I'm ready to go,
he wished, and he puffed away with the coal trucks. That evening, when Bertram came back, he was annoyed to come the way backwards, but he was at least happy that the job was done and the day was over. As Bertram asked where he would sleep to his driver told him, on the broken turntable.
What? You're telling me I need to sleep in that? No, I will not.
The driver was going to respond to it when Bertram did it first.
Fine. I'll sleep in the shed. Only because it's my orders, though.
That evening, before the moon came, Bertram complained of what he had once more.
Is this really all I've got? I could have been on the Mid-South or the Scanway Railway, but no. I had to deliver coal from the far end to the far front. This isn't good for me.
While Bertram was there, talking to himself, Thomas was there too, trying to sleep.
I hate it. Why did driver want me to be here? He's so annoying.
However, as Bertram was complaining and talking to himself, he thought maybe it did suit his grace. Maybe what didn't suit his grace was complaining about your surroundings and disappointing the controller, drivers, workmen, everyone. The next day, Thomas was surprised to see Bertram working hard. Bertram was springing into action and ready to work. Bertram became nicer and didn't complain about his environment unless if it weren't something done properly or as the orders were told. But overall, he was a much nicer engine to be around with, and Thomas really liked him, and he even became friends with him. And Thomas and Bertram liked seeing each other. They had a morning chat and maybe an evening one, and after that they would go to work. However, as Bertram worked overtime, he realized that the work wasn't as big as it used to. He had coal deliveries, but they were smaller and smaller and smaller still. Sometimes Bertram felt like he wasn't working at all. He wondered why this was happening, and he wanted answers. One day, Thomas would indeed bring some. The mainland now takes care of the coal, and there isn't as much over here anymore, so yeah, we're sorry. I'm really sorry, Bertram, but there's nothing I can do. Unless if there's a decent amount of coal, we won't come here. There's no way. But we can't stop running if we don't have coal, you know. It would take such a long time before your coal comes, and we might not even have a railway if it goes on. Bertram understood, and he was alright with what Thomas said.
So, where will I go then? If there's barely anywhere for me here.
No one wants to buy you, Bertram. No one. It's the Scarlowy Railway. They're alright with their engines, and you could just get other ones. You're not strong enough to pull that much, and trust me, Sir Tom had tried his best, but he can't find anyone to buy you. Sorry, Bertram. Trust me, we tried We really did try. Bertram was very upset, but he tried to keep some optimism. Well, at least I won't be what was the word? Scrapped? Oh, yes, oh, yes. I remember that now. At least I won't be scrapped. Thomas knew that Bertram was hiding his anxiousness, and he felt bad. But he decided to move on. I gotta go, Bertram. Have to deliver this too. I'm on a cold. Have a good day.
You too, Thomas. You too.
When the evening came, Bertram went on to the turntable and had much deeper thoughts about his future. He was pretty sure he was going to have work still, but would he? Would he not? Who knows? All he was sure of was that Thomas was still going to come, still going to see Bertram, and try his best to make him happy. One day, Bertram was settling down, and then he saw his friend Thomas.
Hello there. What are you doing here?
I'm here to work. I'm gonna help you.
Thank you. How generous. Well, cheerio. I gotta work too.
Take these cool. However, as Bertram got to the trucks, he bummed them hard. And as he bummed them, he ran into the rocks. He had made a mess. And the truck who had the coal in it laughed.
Oh, bollocks. What are rocks doing there anyways? They shouldn't be there. They should be where that machine is.
Thomas laughed. Ha ha ha. Of course not, silly. That machine is there to move the rocks, you see. They're restoring this place after all. Besides, the rocks were in the way. That machine couldn't have worked if they were there.
Bertram gasped. Restoration? I didn't know.
Didn't your driver or fireman tell you? Why else would I have a van of supplies then?
I didn't know you had supplies in there, and besides, I didn't have time to think.
Bertram was secretly excited.
With your tools you've got in there, could you fix this mess?
Unfortunately, we don't have anything for that, so you'll just have to leave it there and, well, take your breakdown trying. So, Bertram did. When Bertram came back, Thomas's friend Toby the tram engine went away, and Thomas thought it'd be fun to tell a trick. You'll have to watch out tonight.
Why so?
The old wooden tram engine. He'll come to see if you're working or not. Every night he comes and rings his bell. Dilling, dilling, goodbye. I have some work to do now. Beep, beep. And Thomas chuffed away, laughing hysterically about what he did.
Silly Thomas. He thinks I'll be afraid of a tram engine. He has a good sense of humor. I am brave. I'm not afraid of no tram engines haunting at night. All I'll have to do is work a bit more. That's all.
That night, when Toby was wandering about, surveying the place at the mines, he was horrified. He didn't want to see the ghost. However, Bertram could see him, and he knew that Thomas played a trick on him. He laughed a bit. Then he knew what to do. He chuffed a bit forward just to give a little spook. Then he asked his driver if they could see the tram engine's driver. And as the crews did, Toby came by, and he saw Bertram just waiting there silently. Nowadays, Bertram does his work carrying passengers around the quarries and castle, with Toby the tram engine helping aside of him. He enjoys his line of work, and he feels content. Bertram even had his own turntable so that he could turn around and go to the front of the coaches so that he could take the passenger trains. He did have a few slip-ups at the beginning, but it was still the beginning, so mistakes were allowed and didn't matter that much. What Bertram cared about the most was that he had a new place and a line of work, and he wasn't called the Old Warrior anymore. Well, at least not for spooky stories, compared to Toby, who had heard the spooky stuff. One day, he even had the chance to go on the Scarberry Railway, where he met friends and had old faces seen again. Sometimes the narrow gauge themselves even come to see Bertram go along with Toby. And nowadays, everyone around knows that Toby and Bertram will be friends until the end.